Welcome to the Channel for Grace. Gobind will be live shortly. Book a tarot or astrology reading on our website, channelforgrace.guru, and check out our latest programs and classes. Please give us a share and a like, and we hope you enjoy the broadcast. Welcome to the Channel for Grace. Gobind will be live shortly. Book a tarot or astrology reading on our website, channelforgrace.guru, and check out our latest programs and classes. Please give us a share and a like, and we hope you enjoy the broadcast. Welcome to the Channel for Grace. Gobind will be live shortly. Book a tarot or astrology reading on our website, channelforgrace.guru, and check out our latest programs and classes. Please give us a share and a like, and we hope you enjoy the broadcast. Satnam, everyone. What is going on? Welcome back to the channel. My name is Gobind, and this is your Channel for Grace. So excited to be here. Today, we are actually going to talk about the new moon in Aries. There's a lot of astrology going on right now, about to happen, going to activate. There's a lot of really cool energy, and you're probably feeling it, because I know I'm feeling it very intensely in my life, but it feels really exciting and it feels really good. So I think we're ready for the new year, and it's so crazy how this new moon in Aries is actually coincides with the spring equinox, the sun entering into the sign of Aries. It's kind of a big deal, and it doesn't always happen this way. So it's a lot of exciting energy happening at the same time, and I'll go over what all of that means in a moment. But let me say hi to everybody that's here. Hello, Raven. Welcome in. Hello, Sunny. Welcome in. Courtney. Hello. So awesome you can catch this live. Joni is here. We've got Maricela, Raesa, Armonia Tarot. Welcome. We got Lisa. Yes, so good to see you guys. Thank you for saying hi in the chat. And before we dive into the astrology, let me share some fucking epic news. Oh, and Adriana is here too. How's it going? So good to see you. So I'm going to share some epic news that I am really excited about. And then we'll dive into this astrology. So, this is a time of new beginnings. So one of the coolest things that I have been working on that we called Verizon, and we were like, okay, we need to change this device because it keeps turning off and then turning back on while I'm live, which is ridiculous. And then what ends up happening is basically they never call me back. I don't even know where the thing is. We're working on it. So I apologize that this happens. Honestly, something is wrong with it, internally wrong with it. But you know what? Here we go. The good thing is that nothing turns off other than when the Wi-Fi comes back, the connection comes back, and then I'm back. So where were we? Hopefully it doesn't do that again, but if it does, know that I will be right back, and I do apologize for that craziness that my Wi-Fi does. Just creates more suspense, right? It'll be worth the wait. So I was going to share with you, I actually updated my booking page, and now there's 2 new readings available, and you'll be able to see that any moment now. Here we go. So the 2 readings that are now available. Well, first of all, this is what the new page looks like. You have all the different types of readings. So the Atlantean Astrology reading, the Starseed Ancestry reading. I changed it so that the descriptions are actually right here on this page, because I had put videos on there, and I realized that people are booking, but they're not actually watching the video. And so I wanted to make sure that there's a description right away when you see it, so you know what you're purchasing. So Atlantean Astrology reading is amazing. This is relatively new, this type of reading. I highly recommend it if you want to understand your soul contracts. The Starseed Ancestry reading, of course, that's kind of a classic now. And also the basic birth chart reading is also a classic. My live consultations are actually great for if you're not exactly sure what you want to work on. You want to look at many different types of things. Like you want to look at your gene keys and your human design, or you want to look at your progressions. You want to decide on like what you want to, you want to look at the whole year ahead. We can do stuff like that in this type of reading. And that's the live consultation. It's kind of like this kind of flat fee thing. And it's great for just booking a live session with me. And it's open-ended. We can like do whatever you want to do with that reading. And of course, we've got the Akashic Record readings and then the past life regression as well. But here we go. The new stuff is your human design map is a personalized blueprint of your human design aimed at discovering and aligning with your unique DNA. This PDF booklet is individually created and personalized just for you. Included are descriptions of your type, your strategy, your authority, your profile, your incarnation cross, your centers, and then circuitry, channels, and gates. And you'll also receive a unique mantra, your unique mantra for quantumly activating your design. So I basically create this booklet and I send you the PDF version, and it's like your own little book of who you are, of your human design. And then after going through all this information and understanding yourself from this perspective, if you want to book like a deeper dive into it with me, then that's when you book the live consultation. And so I'm really excited about that. I've been like working on this for a while. I know, I can't wait. And I made it really affordable. It's only $108 for the whole booklet. And then the other new reading is new Gene Keys guidance. So people have been asking me about, how do I work with my gene keys? How do I kind of dive into them more? We do this in the Moon Goddess training, but if you wanted to work personally with me on understanding your gene keys, this is the way to do it. And so I specifically made these sessions just 45 minutes long. It's a 45-minute session, and it's only $108. And the reason I did that is so that you can actually book more than one as needed, because obviously Gene Keys journey is kind of like a lifelong process. And I can help guide you through understanding your gene keys. You can't do it all in one session. That's just not possible. You can do an overview of everything in one session, but even then I would literally split it into I would book one session for understanding your activation sequence, and then like further sessions for diving into the activation sequence. And depending on your unique hologenetic profile, I will give you tools and practices to help you dive into your specific energy. So there's so much to really go into. The Venus sequence is all about trauma, healing trauma, looking at old wounds, emotional wounds, mental, all of the conditioning and how to decondition yourself. And then the Pearl sequence basically is the sequence that takes you from all the basic, blueprint and into your prosperity, and how to activate your prosperity in your life and the best work environment and all that stuff. So this is so cool because I've been wanting to do something like this, but didn't quite know how to kind of design it. And this seems like really, really cool. So I'm so excited. And yes, I do. Joni just mentioned that I did an extended chart reading for her starseed reading. And I will actually upload that as well. If you want to book if you've had a starseed reading before, it's kind of like the next level of starseed reading. I designed a whole thing and I look at all this other stuff that I didn't look at in the first starseed reading. That's also available, but I haven't actually updated it yet. Anyways, right now, that's the exciting news. Oh my God, this is like freaking so epic. I can't wait to do these things. Like, this is what I love. And working one-on-one with people, especially for the Gene Keys guidance session, working one-on-one with people is really where like the magic happens for me. Like, that's my design. My human design is when you work one-on-one with people, you can really, really tap into their individual needs. And so, yeah, that's the best sort of way to work with me, and just freaking excited. So what other exciting thing is going on this week? We're going to have in the membership tomorrow evening, we're having our spring equinox celebration. And Tuesday night, we'll be having our Aries new moon ceremony in the global community. If you're not a part of our community, please join the community. It is free to join. You can access it by clicking the link below in the description of this video, but it's also globalcommunity.channelforgrace.com, which also leads me to announce as well that our new website is channelforgrace.com. So we've now graduated from channelforgrace.guru to channelforgrace.com, which is what I originally wanted, but it wasn't available. And then it just so happened that the other day I was looking into it and it was available all of a sudden. Like, someone owned it before and it was really expensive. And I was like, I can't afford that. So I'll just choose this other option, which was .guru, which I thought was kind of cool, because it's like guru, like that whole energy. But there was a lot of these little like issues with like my email gets like blocked a lot. And so now all of those things are going to not happen because we have the .com. So excited about that. And a lot of you were probably going to channelforgrace.com just without even realizing. So yeah, it's official. Exactly, Marisela. It's official. So, oh man, that's actually really cool for me. And it's so cool that all these new and exciting things are happening right now because this is the energy of that. Right now we're about to enter the new astrological year. And I think that's pretty much it. We are like diving into our first week of liberating the inner child course, and holy shit, like I'm already mind blown, as to what we're co-creating and how it's unfolding. And it's just, I have a feeling that this liberating the inner child course is going to be something that I do on a regular basis, like just run people through that, because the process of learning how to heal your inner child is the key to literally like everything in your life. So I feel really good about this, and can't wait to see how it unfolds. It's not too late to join us. You can sign up by going to the global community space. And yeah, so why don't we dive into the astrology now? Because we have a lot to talk about. Thank you, Megan, and thank you for being here. So the astrology right now is kind of crazy. If I reset this to the moment that is going on right now, right, Alexa? Yeah, very exciting and timely. Thank you, guys. Right now, today, the sun is at 29 degrees of Pisces. So the last degree of any sign is called the critical degree, or it's called a critical degree. And it's really significant because it brings in the culmination of the energy of everything that we've been going on for the last 30 days. And it brings it to completion. And the 29, right? The 29th degree is getting ready to become the next new thing. And so there's a transition, there's a death, there's a rebirth energy. But this specific one that happens obviously only once a year is the one that is the ending of the entire astrological year. The astrological wheel starts with Aries and ends with Pisces. So when we start with Aries again, we start the journey all over again. What does Aries represent? Aries represents the Fool in the major arcana, the hero's journey, the spark, the fire that sparks the being into existence, right? It's the tetrahedron that literally activates the octahedron that lives inside in the center. So that is a powerful thing that is happening right now. So we're at the very end of the year. So basically this is a new year. Like we're about to start a new year. In terms of astrology, in terms of Atlantean astrology, this is where it begins. This is where the journey begins. And Aries season is coupled with the spring equinox every year, but there's not always a new moon exactly on the equinox. That's the difference. So how to get the readings, go to my website, channelforgrace.com. There's a link below and go to book a reading and all of them will be there and you can choose which one. And there's a little button that says book now. And, it's really easy from there on. So that's how you get it. And also please know if you are going to get the human design map that, everything, like basically all of the readings that you book that are not live events, it could take up to 2+ weeks to actually receive it. So just know that as well. Obviously I have to like make it and all that stuff. And so anyways, that's actually a pretty quick turnaround compared to some people. But yeah, so we're like starting this new journey. It's coupled with the spring equinox. It's a really exciting time. And we're about to literally dive into this journey. And actually, this is a perfect time to join the Starseed membership. Shameless plug, because the Starseed membership basically focuses on the ancient Atlantean wisdom, the ancient Atlantean way of looking at astrology, which says that season 1 is obviously Aries season. And this is where we begin our own personal journey through the wheel. So wherever Aries is in your chart, this is it. Like this is your chance to get ready for the next 12 months, the next 12 seasons, to watch your soul like open and liberate, and to do it by being guided through all of the seasons with, video content, live events, group discussions, monthly discussions, special workshops. In fact, that's actually maybe a really good announcement to make, is that our next special workshop, we did one Saturn in Pisces, and the replay is there. So you get all these awesome replays too. Our next workshop, special workshop that will be happening only in the Starseed membership, will be on April 7th, and it'll be Pluto in Aquarius. We're going to talk about Pluto in Aquarius, what that means for the collective and then for us individually. And we'll go through all of the rising signs and see where Pluto is in our chart. It's going to be really powerful because this transit of Pluto in Aquarius is basically a huge part of like the new frequency that's coming into the planet, and how to navigate through that frequency for the rest of our lives, basically. Well, not the rest of our lives, but for a good chunk of time. Pluto is going to be in Aquarius, and it's going to be very significant in where it is in your chart and how it affects you. Anyways, all that stuff goes on in the Starseed membership. So yes, Sunny says I'm a Aries rising, so this is my first house, and Pisces is my 12th house. Yes, exactly. Awesome. Alexa says, so ready. We got this. We were born for this. I agree. Harmonia Tarot, thank you, Jai, for the book recommendation you gave me on astrology and rising Kundalini. Yes, really good one. Oh, yeah, it's a really good book. And awesome. Okay, So here we are, 29 degrees of Pisces. If I move this forward one day, boom, the sun is at 0 degrees of Aries. And if I move this over one more day, basically the moon conjuncts the sun. So we've got 29 degrees of Pisces, the end of the year, starting the spring, the equinox. While the sun is still at 0 degrees, we've got the moon conjunct the sun. Look at that. 0 minutes, 0 degrees, 49 minutes of Aries. This moon is happening in. So let's dive into the astrology. If you're new to this broadcast, I'm going to go over the general energy, the aspects, any stargates that are significant right now, the chakra system of the body, Sabian symbol, Chandra symbol, the gene key, and then tomorrow or the next day, whenever I can find time to fit it in, we're going to do, it'll probably be sometime during the day, not in the evening, because I literally have 2 evening events going on back to back because all this shit is like slamming together. And we'll do the human design reading of this moon, which is also really exciting. So what are we looking at here? We are looking at this new moon in Aries happening at 0 degrees of Aries, literally like boom, like clashing into each other, the spring equinox and the new moon, just like opening up. Do you know what's so crazy about this? So every once in a while, there's this thing that happens where like the degrees get like funky, and then we end up having like 2 new moons, you know, or 2 full moons in the same sign. And this is starting that. There's going to be in a month. So we have new moon Aries and then full moon Libra. And technically we should have new moon Taurus, but instead of having a new moon in Taurus, we're going to actually have another new moon in Aries at like 29 degrees, I believe, somewhere around like the late degrees of Aries. That's going to be our first eclipse of the new nodes, even though the nodes haven't officially moved into Aries and Libra. That's our first Aries eclipse. The eclipses from now on, like in July, the nodes move into Aries and Libra, and the eclipses will be Libra and Aries, Aries and Libra, Libra and Aries, Aries, like that for 18 months. Our first Aries eclipse is happening in a month at like 20. It's crazy. Yeah. So this Aries season is definitely unique. Like definitely unique. It's super, super powerful. So here we go. We start with a bang. Marisela says, fuck. We start with a bang. But this is exciting because Aries is the fire, the cardinal fire that sparks things to life. It sparks our spirit. It's, yeah, like a dance. Yeah. It sparks our spirit and it gets us moving forward. It's like, let's go, you know? It's the hero's journey where we launch into a new adventure. What do you mean when you have the reverse birth chart placement of where the nodes are? You're just going through like it's not your nodal return, but it's the like the reverse nodal return. It happens like I think it's like maybe 12 years or something like that. No, every 24 years. Anyways, it just means that like the collective is moving in the direction that you're trying to move away from. So it kind of feels a little funky to go through that. But yes. Hi, what is her greeting when she starts to talk to us? Sat Nam. Oh, I think you're watching this like delayed. Well, I think you're watching like you're in the past. Come back to the present. Somebody put it in the chat. Anyways, Sat Nam. When you catch up with us in the future, Sat means truth. Nam means name. Sat Nam means truth is who I am. Truth is my identity. Sat Nam. Anyways, or you might be here in the present and I'm totally confusing the shit out of you. Raessa says Mars, Pluto, 2 new moons and 1 eclipse. Yep. I've been searching for this forever. Kingdom unity. My Chiron is in Aries. A lot of people have. So you're going through Chiron return, possibly. And my ass has been getting it. Well, welcome to Aries North Node. Oh. Face your fears and do it anyways. Yes, we are the Illuminous Warriors. I love that. Okay. So this is cool, you guys. This is like a power punch. It's like, wake up, right? Aries is like, wake up, bitch. It's time to go. So here we go. It's time to go. And I can feel it. I have a lot of open centers. I am very much a reflector. Like the strategy that I really need to take as a mental projector is really the strategy of a reflector, which is you wait, the 28.5 cycle of the moon to make big decisions in your life. And you're very, very sensitive to the transits and what's changing around you in your environment. So you have to be really careful about what you have in your environment. I feel this transit very, very strongly. Very, very strongly. Yeah, Mars is going to go into Cancer. So another big thing. So what are some of the things that are going on with this? The ruler of this moon is actually Mars. So whatever Mars is doing is important to look at because it gives you insight into how we're going to feel, this moon. And in fact, Mars is over here at 28 degrees, which is basically a square. This new moon in Aries is squaring Mars, which is kind of intense. This is like a challenge. Squares are the energies that ask you to get up and move. Like there's something to do. There's something to figure out. There's something to resolve. Like this is not like the easy trine, like, oh, everything's just going to flow really nicely and it's going to feel really good. Like this is no, right? Exactly. Like wake up, bitch. Like it's time to make a move. So I like this. I actually like it. I feel like there's a challenge, like I feel like this Mars energy is really challenging us to do something, just to activate, because that is Aries. Aries is the initiator of action. And whatever you initiate is what you're going to literally like be manifesting. This is the whole year. This is our new year. This is our astrological new year, which makes it actually really exciting. I feel like this is a good thing because I feel like we need to get ready to take action and to not like sit around and be lazy, right? You definitely don't want to do that during Aries season. It'll be like everyone's just going to go ahead and you'll be so far behind if you don't like get moving, But the other thing that's happening is it's very close to Neptune too, even though it's not an exact conjunction. It is close to Neptune, and Neptune just heightens sensitivity, makes us more sensitive, makes us feel maybe hypersensitive. And so you have to pay attention to how you feel, take care of yourself, know when to say no, know when to say yes. Don't overwhelm yourself. There's a lot of energy and it can 100% feel overwhelming. There is a beautiful trine to Saturn from Mars. Not exact, but pretty close. This trine is good because this says that, okay, Saturn is the lord of time and karma. Mars is drive and motivation and action. When there's a trine, it's like, okay, you can align yourself to the things that Saturn represents. Commitment, right? Commit to something. Like devote your energy to something. Something that means something to you. Something that is meaningful, not meaningless. And to be able to align ourselves with purpose and mission is huge. So I feel like that's a beautiful thing. There is a square also from Mars to Neptune. That one's a little bit closer than the square to the moon and the sun. And that does create a little bit of confusion. So how do we find the clarity? We find the clarity by following our authority. What's our authority? You got to know your human design for that. Clarity comes through understanding your authority, how to make decisions, how to understand things. It's very important when things can get confusing, find the clarity through knowing what is your strongest intuitive ability, and it's your authority, basically. Your authority is your strongest intuitive ability. We have a conjunction between Chiron and Jupiter still. And they are on Andromeda. That's one of the activators of this energy. Andromeda is the liberation of the soul. And Aries is the soul that comes from the Piscean spiritual divine realm into the physical to like start walking the earth. So the liberation of the soul is the journey of Aries that we're embarking on. It starts from the beginning and you got to go through the whole process and you got to grow and evolve. But the evolution process begins with Aries. It's very, very exciting. So wherever you pick up where you left off, what did you learn this last year? How far have you come in your journey of healing and finding yourself? And when you get to that place, when you start Aries season, it's like, okay, we completed that. Now we're continuing where we left off. So it's exponential. It's also quantum as well. Really beautiful. The thing that's kind of interesting that might feel kind of uncomfortable, not kind of, but like a lot uncomfortable, is this Pluto at 29 degrees getting ready to go into freaking Aquarius for the first time since 2008 is making a T-square to the nodes. That's kind of gnarly. Good thing Venus is right there in Taurus. But this T-square is going to feel like, Pluto represents power. Oh, we'll talk about this in our special workshop. Pluto is power. Pluto is also, repressed. I can't write. Repressed trauma. All like buried deeply within a subconscious that we usually are afraid to access. Wherever Pluto is in our chart gives us that flavor of like, how do we function through our trauma? How do we express our trauma? How do we repress our trauma as well? And what do we really attract? Because Pluto brings, Pluto is like a magnet too. It's like you attract situations into your life. So healing your trauma, especially childhood trauma, which is really where all our trauma comes from, is the key to not basically like throwing away, in a way, like not wasting your opportunity to evolve, really. But this square is challenging us to heal, to move towards more balance, to heal old traumas, move towards more balance, release, what doesn't serve us, the things that they trigger us, they bring drama into our lives and karma. And when you release old stories and old patterns, and when you actually heal, you have to move. The thing is about healing shadow, like shadow work is about moving right. It's not about moving away from the shadow. The first step to healing your shadow is to move straight to it, to walk right up to it, to face it, to feel it, to experience it, to understand where it comes from, to understand where it shows up. That process is the difficult, challenging process. But when you walk straight into the tornado instead of away from it, which is basically saying when you walk right into the emotions of the shadow, that's where the healing begins. That's the key. When you're able to really be with how you feel in a moment instead of trying to run away from it or change it or fix it or say there's something wrong with me, that's the key. That's one of the biggest things you can start to do to heal, is to not run away from your emotions and your feelings that come up when certain situations show up in your life. It's when you get triggered that your emotions are begging for you to pay attention to them, to direct your attention to them fully, like fully be there and not walk away. Can you fully sit with those emotions? Because the emotions open the doors to the healing. It's the only way. You can't think positively your way through healing shadow work. That's not how you do it. So a lot of Pluto energy, obviously, the two rulers of that energy of Scorpio is Mars and Pluto, and Mars is the ruler of this moon, which means there's like a link, there's a connection to Pluto, because Mars is also the dispositor of the South Node, the same as Pluto. So Pluto and Mars, and then he's also the ruler of this moon. So Mars and Pluto energy is very strong during this moon. So definitely heavy energy, it's not going to be anything easy, but it is the most powerful work that you can do, is the shadow work. So let's add a little bit of more meaning, which I love to do with the Sabian symbol and the Chandra symbol of the moon before we dive into the gene keys. So let's go to, so interesting, because it's like I was looking through this book and I'm like, oh my God, it's the very first Sabian symbol, 0 degrees Aries. On a huge warship, the second in command emerges from below deck and strides down the gangplank. What does this mean? This means struggling to emerge from the shadows and into the light. Mustering up the courage to step out of the background and show what one can do, especially in group endeavors. For example, stuck in the shadow of one's parents or one's boss. This is about military energy, political energy too, or cultural leadership. Setting a new agenda and enlisting an army of followers to put that agenda into effect. Whoa. Decisiveness. Confidence in the soundness of one's will and one's impulses. Bold conquest of new territories of knowledge or expertise. Following some vision towards a distant goal. One-tracked mind. Refuse to be sidetracked. That's why the Fool is also really smart to be going on a new journey, but also a fool, because they're also very naive. You're going to do it no matter what. But that's also the kind of thing that gets you through to the end, right? March inexorably along the path to success, fighting to get one's way, impressing one's will on the world, and deferring to others versus setting one's own course in life. I mean, it's the beginning of all of this frequency of the entire astrological wheel is 0 degrees of Aries. What's the Sabian symbol tell us? A man repairing and extending a stone wall in the spring. Objective earth existence embraced with a fury. Identifying yourself completely with physical capability, external results, and quantifiable criteria on all fronts. You willfully submerge yourself in the brute facts and the bear phenomena. There is a virtue in this approach. You become ready and quite able to do what is asked or needed, and to put nothing in the way of each next thing happening right on schedule. You actually become a hardy vessel for strong earth usage. You know what that opens up to me? That to me talks about the expressing the life force of the planet through the sacral center. So do you have your sacral defined is a question that's coming up for me right now. Because if you have your sacral defined in human design, then you are here to channel the life force of the earth. So you actually become a hardy vessel for strong earth usage. It is a form of penance or probation for past excesses, now gravitating towards the straight and narrow and trying to get certain things straight for a brand new start. It is the initial phase, the radically new cycle taken up with passion, with an omnivorous appetite for things to do, problems to solve, words to streamline. Tremendous for activating will, intended for nothing else. Whoa. Some pretty powerful stuff right there. One of the really, really cool things about this new moon is that it is happening on the 25th gene key. We've been seeing that number pop up. Nancy's been sharing in our level 1 moon goddess training the gene key that the sun is currently in, and it just entered the 25th gene key and is going to be in this 25th gene key for this powerful new moon in Aries. So what is the 25th gene key? If you're new to the gene keys, I highly recommend that you look them up and pull your gene keys from genekeys.com. The 25th gene key, the myth of the sacred wound. This gene key moves from the shadow of constriction to the gift of acceptance, to the city of universal love. The ultimate expression of this gene key is universal love. Like, whoa. So, the 25th gene key, the rose and the chalice. The 25th city is a special city, whether it happens to be within your hologenetic profile or not. Every gene key exists inside each of us. And the 25th gene key is the primary archetype of love. Behind the mystery of the 25th gift lies the mystery of suffering. And as we have seen through the 25th shadow, it is a theme integral to the evolution of human consciousness. This connection to human suffering brings the 25th gene key into close relationship with the 22nd gene key, by whose grace deep acceptance and love may be found. The sacred wound only reveals its true purpose to the 25th city of universal love. Within the 64 cities, there are many other variations of love. In fact, every city is a fractal aspect of universal love. Examples are the ecstatic sensual love of the 46th city, the devotional heart of the 29th city, the intoxication of the 56th city, and the compassion of the 36th city. The 25th city is love itself as the source of all. And in this sense, it can be called universal love. In all cultures, this love is represented through the great myths. And in many of these myths, it is symbolized by the sacred symbol of blood. The symbol of blood has many meanings and levels. It represents the conduit for the sacred wound itself, the blood that passes from human to human down through the ages down the ages and that contains the codes for our ultimate healing. One, on a more universal level, it symbolizes consciousness, that which moves through and behind all forms, knitting them together into a great cosmic pattern. Perhaps the best known of all myths concerning blood is the myth of Christ, whose blood is said to have been shed for all humanity. There is a deep secret concealed in this myth. The sacred wound that hides within each human being can be understood at the three main levels of consciousness. At the shadow frequency, the wound maintains human suffering. At the gift frequency, the wound provokes humanity to evolve. And at the Siddhic frequency, the wound reveals humanity's true nature as an expression of universal love. Only at the Siddhic level of consciousness can one understand the true meaning of the blood of Christ. When your frequency is lifted up to the Siddhic level, everything takes on a cosmic dimension, and you have no choice but to take into yourself the suffering of all beings. In terms of our genetics, the blood of Christ represents the absolute acceptance of the suffering of all men and women from the beginning of time, all of which is encoded in the human genome. This is why it is said that a being at the highest frequency takes on the sins, the suffering of humanity, whether they are termed a Christ or a Bodhisattva. This is the only way to attain the highest state of universal love. At the gift level of frequency, you begin to take responsibility for your own suffering. Ooh! As your experience of suffering deepens, it is experienced as unending, and you begin to transform the ancestral wounds of those who have come before you. The deeper you move into acceptance, the more you have to open your heart to human pain, and the more pain you transform, the more love you feel. We were just talking about this. At a certain level, the process loses its personal flavor and takes on a universal dimension. At the level of the 25th city, a permanent leap is made whereby everything becomes acceptance and the rose of universal love blooms. This is the true beauty and purpose of all suffering. There is another mystery surrounding the system of blood, symbolized by the vessel that holds the blood. This vessel has been given a variety of names in many cultures. Sometimes it is seen as the cauldron or vial containing an elixir, and other times simply a cup or a chalice. In the Grail legends, it is said that whomever drinks from the cup of Christ will live forever, and if the king drinks from it, the land will be restored. The 25th city is the ultimate grail of all seekers. That which we seek is our original nature, and it lies within us, hiding within our shadows and wounds. Holy shit, I just got full body chills. Everyone in your life is part of your own wound and the healing of that wound. Through gracious acceptance, you will begin to feel the extent of the pain that lies within and all about you. You need never be afraid of this pain, as it is the direct and only route leading to the heart of your heart. We can all take heart from this greatest of truths. The other truth that emerges from this 25th gene key is the resolution of the old mystical chestnut about seeking. It is said that the greatest obstacle to realization is the seeking of it. All spiritual paths begin with the urge to bring an end to personal suffering. It is your unacceptance of suffering that makes you seek. And as you seek, you eventually realize that your seeking is based on the urge to avoid your wound. This revelation gives rise to the quantum leap to the Siddhic level of consciousness. Thus it is said that only when all hope of finding the Grail is lost can the Grail finally be found. Those beings who have attained realization through the 25th city become in some form legends. Their lives follow a familiar mythical pattern. They are people whose lives reflect the grappling with their wound. Whether that is the wound of duality transcended by the Buddha or the wound of Christ hanging on the cross. They take paths that others have never traveled, and in doing so, they take into themselves the suffering of the world. The aura of such a person shines like a light down the centuries and is felt within the bloodlines of all future generations. Every time someone attains the 25th city, a great genetic constriction is removed throughout humanity. The love emanating within such people has an otherworldly quality. This is not human love as we know it, but universal love. The bodies of these people have undergone a radical transformation in order to be the receiver or chalice of pure consciousness, the uncontaminated blood of the universe. Dude! Whoa. Whoa. That's it. That's our new moon. Yep. And the connection to human design, which when I do the human design reading, we'll dive into like the human design perspective. It's the 25th gate. And these are all at line 3s, by the way. It's a line 3, which remember the line, those of us who study the gene keys, lines 1 through 6. The first line is the creator. The second line is the dancer. The third line is the changer. The fourth line is, I always forget the fourth line. I don't know why. The fifth line is the leader. The sixth line is the teacher. And this is through the gene keys. What's the fourth line? Somebody that has a fourth line. Can you read that again? Anyways, let's just stick with the third line. The third line is the changer, which means that the energy and the frequency of this new moon is that frequency of the third line, which, remember the third line? The third line learns by trial and error. The third line discovers the world by experiencing it, by making mistakes and learning through experience. It changes things because it like literally goes and does all these things and has all these experiences. And yes, it fails more than it succeeds, but through those like constant like action and movement and like the I'm going to just go try it. Like, I don't care, you know, what this says. I'm just going to go do it. That's how they like trip onto some epic discovery, you know, like you just got to go do it. This is about like movement. This isn't about sitting still and meditating. This isn't about like, you know, flowing through it, doing your own thing. This is about like, get in there, get your hands dirty. Literally, get your hands dirty. That's part of the message. And in human design, it's called the gate of the spirit of the self. And it's about innocence. The channel that is connected to it is called the channel of initiation. And there is a planet on the 51st gate. So the channel of initiation is the 2551. The 25th gate is found on the G center, and it's connected to the ego center. And I just had that funny song, like the shoulder bone's connected to the elbow bone. Anyways, so that's exactly like where it kind of connects with the human design, is that it's initiation. It's an energy of initiation. There's a planet on the 51st. So this channel is a complete channel, this moon. So we're all going to feel it. So when we talk about that, human design, we'll dive into that. But this is powerful. So the work that we have to do with this new moon as we set our intentions for the new year is moving out. Just ask yourself, where am I constricted? Where am I constricted in my life? How do I step, instead of constriction, like what's the opposite of constriction? Expansion. Constricting yourself is closing yourself off to love. So where are you constricted? How can you find acceptance of the shadow? Not trying to change it, but just accept that the nature of our reality is that we live in a world of shadows and light. And as we do that, we try to reach for this understanding of universal love. We can feel glimpses, we can have glimpses of universal love if we surrender to the experience of the transmutation of the shadow into the gift, which means, like I said, moving right into the shadow instead of running away from it. Like a fucking warrior with a sword. Because in that moment, what you actually end up realizing is that it's like, yeah, ask yourself, can you dance with your own demons? Dance with your own demons and win. But not win by like winning the battle, win by surrendering into the understanding that that demon and that shadow was just a door that was about to open. It just wanted you to look at it. It just wanted you to fucking pay attention to it. Stop ignoring it and go through the door. You're afraid of magic on the other side. You're afraid of something that you think you're going to find on the other side of that. But the truth is that what you're going to find on the other side is your ultimate freedom and your ultimate happiness and like universal love. That's why we're so afraid to like accept our shadows and accept those triggers when they are the call. They're calling us. They're like beaconing us. They're telling us, hey, this is the way through. Follow me, you know? And we're scared, but they are the key. Whoa, dude, epic. Epic energy. I can't wait for this new year to begin. I feel the shift is coming. Oh my God, there's 25 people right now. What? I feel the shift coming. Right when I looked at it, it said 25. It's just around the corner. Find your strength. Stand up. Right? Get up. Get up. You're about to get slapped in the face with an initiation. Don't cower under it. Step up to the challenge. All right. Love you guys. I'll see you soon. I'll see you in the global community. I'll see you in the membership tomorrow. Spring equinox ceremony. I'll see you in the global community on Tuesday. This is all like in the same space. I'll see you in the global community on Tuesday for the Aries new moon celebration. And yeah, come hang out with us. We got a pretty cool fucking thing going on over there. Love you guys, and I'll see you again soon. Sat Nam.